This is Dr. Wagner, the dermatologist. Just calling to see, you know how I spell Mississippi? M-I-S psoriasis I-P-P-I.
Over here, Howie and Mel.
Bob and Ray Semifinals here for the Junior Bob and Ray contest. And we have the two semifinalists, Howie Samara.
Hiya.
And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Mel DiGiacomo.
Hello.
And you two fellas are in line to take over the Junior Bob and Ray activities for this summer.
So we understand. Yeah.
So we can go out to Ray's 38-acre estate, and you can go to the meat market openings and conduct the interviews for us.
Yes, and then Ray said something about maybe we could come out to his 38-acre lake.
Well, I think that's just so much big talk on his part, because
he seemed serious when he said it.
Yes, he did, Mel.
Well, what are we going to do now in the competition, Bob?
We understand there's a certain test we have to go through.
Well, there is. There is a three-part test. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right,
Mel DiGiacomo.
First part of the competition is impersonations, mimicry and voices, of which, of course, we are tops in our field. And we have a list of imitations for you, or you can do your own. Do you have any, Mel, that you do particularly well?
Well, I think so. I'd like to do my Cary Grant.
Do your Cary Grant.
Good.
All right. Mel DiGiacomo, who is the contender for the Ray Award, the Junior Ray.
Yes. Judy. It's my impersonation of Cary Grant.
Cary Grant.
Audience, please.
All right,
please.
Howie.
We don't have time for applause.
No, it'll take too long.
And you know as well as I do that impersonation of Cary Grant was not worth
All right,
applause.
Howie, I think Howie should have his chance at impersonation.
All right, Howard Samara,
Okay.
who could possibly be the Bob, if you would,
That's
Howie.
what I'm trying for.
Swell.
I'll do the Ed Sullivan one.
Good.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a really, really big one.
Okay.
No applause.
All right, so much for the impersonations. What do we move on to next, Bob?
Part two is sense of humor, jokes. This, of course, probably is the strongest part of the test next to ad-libbing, which is part three, but jokes are, of course, important.
Okay, let's see. Why don't you two fellas team up now and try to do a...
Okay, I'll start
Do
now.
a routine, will you, please?
Okay, a little routine.
Okay.
Hey, Mel, did you hear about the jerk that cut a hole in the rug?
What did he do that for?
To see the floor show.
Hey, did you read the book Over the Cliff by You Go First?
What's it about?
Well, I don't know. That's the joke.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo-hoo.
What are you crying about?
What did one wall say?
I think that's enough of the humor department, Mel and Howie, and the last part, of course, is
Sorry, Bob, we don't have too much time.
It's testing their ad-lib ability. We give them a hypothetical situation. They ad-lib their way out of it. You want to explain the situation to them?
Okay, now one of you fellas,
Yeah.
let's say you,
Howie.
You'd be a bank clerk who has just been held up with a ray gun
I got it.
by a man claiming to be from outer space.
Oh,
So he's from
yeah.
some other planet.
Okay.
And
What's Mel going
Mel will be, I guess, the announcer interviewing him, right? Okay.
Oh,
You got
okay.
the situation?
I'm the bank clerk. I've just been held up.
Hey. Hello, sir. I'm an announcer
Hello.
interviewing you.
Oh, excuse me.
Hello, I'm an announcer interviewing you. I hear that you've been held up with a ray gun by a man... No, I hear you were held up with a man with a ray gun coming from outer space.
Yes, I was.
Oh, did he take any money from you?
Me? No.
Did he take any from the bank?
I don't know.
Bob?
Yeah.
You fellas, would you hold it just a second?
Yeah, sure.
Bob, step back here a little bit.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with them?
I think they stand
Are you
very
going to
good.
be polite, or...
Well, I think for time purposes, we better just tell them we'll get in touch with them if we need them.
Why don't I do it?
Once again, ladies, the popular feature, Hazel Hunsaford's Household Hints.
Miss Hunsaford's widely syndicated column has lightened the drudgery of homemaking for millions of American women, and I presume you have another of your famous life-saving tips to pass along today, Hazel. Hazel? What are you doing standing on the chair there?
I was just noticing the cobwebs you have up in the corner of the ceiling.
Well, I wish you'd come on back down. I don't think our insurance would cover you if you fell.
You know, all right.
Yeah.
A broom wrapped in velvet is the best way to get the place clear of ceiling cobwebs. The cobwebs cling to the velvet. You can make your own broom cover or just use a party dress that's due to be sent to the cleaners anyway.
Yeah, well, we have a night janitor who gets rid of the cobwebs here. I don't know whether he uses a party dress or not. Now, about your household hint for this week.
Well, anyone with a janitor or a maid would be wise to stick a spare door key to the bottom of the door with chewing gum. That way, the servant will never be locked out. It can also save you some frustrating moments if you ever discover that you've forgotten your own key.
That is a very good idea, Hazel, but what we wanted to find out...
Any reputable brand of chewing gum will do. I use Juicy Fruit myself.
I understand that today's household hint has something to do with getting rid of kitchen odor.
Well, that's right. It's a rather complicated hint to demonstrate. Now, I've set up this 3-burner hot plate over in the corner of the studio. Now, that's to create the undesirable odors so I can show you how to get rid of them.
Uh-huh. I notice you have a head of cabbage in a pot on one burner there. That looks like pig's knuckles and sauerkraut on the second burner. And what's that in the third kettle with a lid on it?
Well, I'm going to cook an old pair of overshoes in there.
Okay. Well, Hazel has plugged in the hot plate. The mixture of unpleasant odors already is filling the studio. Sure hope you know how to get rid of this smell, Hazel. Clifton Fadiman's going to do a show from this studio later today, and he'll be pretty upset if he smells like cabbage and burnt overshoes.
Oh, I can get rid of it. I'm just waiting for the odor to reach the right level.
Well, I think it smells bad enough right now, so suppose you go right ahead and demonstrate your household hint.
Well, now the first step is to pour about 3 fingers of bourbon into a water glass.
Uh-huh.
Bonded bourbon is best, but if you're on an economy budget, any kind will do.
Sure never heard of using bourbon to get rid of kitchen odors, but go ahead. What do you do next?
Well, you carry the glass over near the hot plate, and... there we are.
Well, Hazel, you just drank the bourbon. The studio smells as bad as it did before.
Well, I don't notice it at all. Funny how quick it works.
Uh-huh. That's your household hint, is it?
That's it, Blue Eyes.
All right. Well, get this junk out of here, will you? We'll call you if we ever want you to come back.
I'll be waiting for your call, big boy.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
And now, the United States Mint, makers of money, invite you to join us for another dramatic, true-to-life story from the files of the Emergency Ward.
Hello there. I am Dr. Gerhard Snutton, a handsome young physician who has not yet established a practice of his own. Instead, I work in the emergency ward of a big city hospital. The emergency ward is a place where human drama is unfolding at every hour of the day and night. Take the other evening, for example. I was sitting at my desk, leafing through a medical textbook, when my assistant, Nurse Roothouse, turned to me and said,
An Introduction to the Human Skeletal System. Is it a good book, Dr. Snutton?
I find it rather dull, Nurse Roothouse, but it's my theory that every doctor should know something about human bone structure.
Well, didn't you learn all about that in medical school, Dr. Snutton?
No, I don't recall any of my professors ever mentioning the bones. Maybe it all came up in some course I didn't take. I really couldn't say.
Pardon me, folks, but is this the emergency ward of a big city hospital?
Yes. I am Dr. Gerhard Snutton, a handsome young physician who has not yet established a practice of his own. And this is my assistant, Nurse Roothouse.
Well, I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. I just got hit by a car down in front of the building, and I guess I better come up here and get checked over.
It appears to have been a rather unusual accident. You don't see many air-cooled Franklins anymore.
No, you don't, especially touring cars with the little oval windows in the back like this.
It seems to be in pretty good shape. How many miles does it have on it?
I don't know. I've got my leg tangled up in the front bumper here, and I can't see the speedometer from here.
There's only one thing wrong with these cars. They were gas eaters.
Well, Dr. Snutton, this man is bleeding rather badly. Don't you think we should give him first aid?
That's not blood, Nurse Roothouse. That's ethyl gasoline.
No, it's blood, Doc.
How do you know? Are you a physician?
No, but I'm beginning to feel faint. The room is starting to swim, and things are going black.
Sounds like the symptoms of encephalitis. You don't see much of that in this part of the world.
Well, I think he's just getting faint from losing so much blood.
Nurse Roothouse, I wish you wouldn't express your opinions in front of the patient this way.
Well, if you don't get a bandage on that leg, he's going to be a goner.
Nurse Roothouse, I am in charge here. The life of a man may hang in the balance.
Well, look, while you folks were talking there, I got myself bandaged up pretty well. Bleeding seems to have stopped. What do I owe you?
Well, let's see. Is that 1.5 or 2-inch adhesive tape you used there?
I think it's 2-inch.
Well, that'll be 40 cents then.
Okay, there you are, and I'm much obliged to you.
Well, Nurse Roothouse, once again, we can mark down in our case book, patient released. Cured.
This week's exciting story from the emergency ward has been brought to you by the United States Mint, makers of money. Remember, friends, regardless of your circumstances, for sheer wealth, there's no substitute for money.
Hey, Bob and Ray, this is, well, you know who this is. I just wanted you to know I took your last episode and I plugged the script of it into AI and had it look at every 77th word. And I just wanted you to know I got the message.
This is yours truly, Jack Dooley, welcoming you to another session of Last Night, new radio service for America after twilight. Whatever happened, wherever it was, if it occurred during the hours of darkness, Last Night was there. Our mobile microphones are all over the nation, poised to bring you the story of America after twilight. In Worden, North Dakota, the big nighttime event this week is the annual auto show. To hear the story, we switch to Last Night correspondent Gottlieb Dressendorfer.
And this is Gottlieb Dressendorfer speaking from the high school gymnasium in Worden, North Dakota, where the big auto show is in full swing. The manager of the show is here beside me, and I must make the observation, sir, that you don't appear to have many people here in the gym tonight.
Well, there's a very good reason for that. If you look very closely, you'll see that all of the cars we're displaying are 1955 models. And there aren't many pigeons around who will pay 4 bits to look at a bunch of cars that are 2 years old.
Well, is there any particular reason why you're displaying 1955 cars here in the 1957 show?
Yes, the train bringing the displays out here was snowbound for almost 2 years, just this side of Bismarck. We figured that the people in this area were such squares that they'd pay to see the cars anyway, but boy, we sure made a mistake.
And that's the story from Worden, North Dakota. Now, this is Gottlieb Dressendorfer sending it back to Last Night in New York.
The glitter of new cars in the far north, the glitter of neon in the deep south, where the glittering lights turn night into day along the streets of Miami Beach. Last Night is on the scene, and we switch to correspondent Buford Crawley in Miami Beach.
Well, this is Buford Crawley in Miami Beach, a city that seems to go full tilt 24 hours a day. Beside me is one of the late evening strollers along Collins Avenue, and I believe, sir, that you said you're a thief.
Well, I'm a cat burglar, really. Sort of a specialized kind of thief.
You steal only cats, do you?
No, I make like a cat. I tippy-toe into a house and ransack the place without awakening anybody.
I see. Would you care to tell us where you were going when we stopped you on the street here?
No, I wouldn't care to tell you.
Well, that's a story from glittering Miami Beach. And now this is Buford Crawley sending it back to Last Night in New York.
Near in the Atlantic coast states, darkness has covered the land for many hours now, but still the pulse of life beats on. For the latest news after twilight in New England, we call in correspondent Leverett Higgins from Manchester, New Hampshire.
This is Leverett Higgins in Manchester. The only person I've been able to find on the streets here is this gentleman beside me. What brings you out at this hour of the night, sir?
Well, I have insomnia. Just can't sleep. Thought maybe walk around the block would help. Now I'm wide awake. More wide awake than ever before.
Have you tried a hot bath to make you drowsy?
Yes, I tried that.
Did you try reading?
Yeah.
Warm milk?
Yeah.
This is Leverett Higgins in Manchester, New Hampshire, sending it back to Last Night in New York.
I guess that about wraps it up for another evening. Once more, we've told the saga of America after twilight as it unfolds. And until we meet again, this is yours truly, Jack Dooley.
You've been listening to Last Night, the new radio service for America after twilight.
Hand over and catch the dogs, will you?
Whatever it was, wherever it happened, last night was there. And it's time now for Bridget Hilary and the news. The dramatic, true-to-life story of a girl radio reporter who dares to tell the truth in her hard-hitting weekly broadcasts. As our scene opens today, Walter Edgley, the 16-and-a-half-year-old president of the Staten Island Bridget Hilary fan club, is just entering the rehearsal room of the Amalgamated Broadcasting System.
Gee, I never thought I'd duck that studio guard and get in here to see you, Miss Hilary. I just had to get your autograph.
What is your name, young man?
I'm 16-and-a-half-year-old Walter Edgley.
1 minute there, time, Miss Hilary.
I'm serving my second term as president of the Staten Island Bridget Hilary fan club. I'd lay down my life for you, Miss Hilary.
What is your exact street address on Staten Island?
4327 South Fondue Drive. Gee, what are you writing this all down for, Miss Hilary? You going to mail me a picture of yourself?
No, I'm going to expose you.
Oh, gosh, Miss Hilary, I haven't done anything wrong.
5 seconds to that time, Miss Hilary.
I'm sorry about ducking past the studio guard, if that's what you mean.
Well, I suppose you'd sell my autograph if I gave it to you and pocket the cash.
Oh, gosh, no, Miss Hilary. I'd treasure it always. You're my ideal.
I've been looking into this autograph racket for quite a while now, but I didn't have any idea that the proof of my charges would come to me so easily.
Oh, you got me all wrong, Miss Hilary. I'm your greatest fan.
You're on the air, Miss Hilary.
I sure hope you don't mention on the air that I've been here. My folks will sure be mad. They just think I'm out on a gang rumble.
I have nothing personally against you, Emil, but...
It's Walter. That's my name, Walter.
Well, I have nothing personally against you, but parasites working the autograph racket have plagued celebrities for years now and have made a handsome profit out of it. I'm going to recommend on the air that Senator McClellan look into this phony group you say you're the president of. And I hope you can present your books.
Oh, gee, we don't keep any books. We're all sophomores and juniors. And you don't take bookkeeping till you get to be a senior.
The program's off the air now, Miss Hilary. If they didn't show up with a studio, they fill the time with an old transcription of Jane and Glenn.
Part of the club wanted to switch over and make Hank Bauer our idol. I wish I'd gone along with the idea now. I don't think he calls in a Senate committee when you ask for his autograph.
I have contacts in the Yankee Clubhouse, Luther.
Walter's my name.
I have contacts in the Yankee Clubhouse. And I've heard about this racket of yours sooner or later anyway.
I guess I was doomed from the word go then.
I feel sorry for you, Peter. But as a working journalist, my first duty is to the American people.
And so Bridget appears to be on her way toward smashing another racket plaguing our country. Be sure to join us next time when we'll hear Walter Edgley say...
She's nutty as a fruitcake, fellas. I move we switch to Hank Bauer.
That's in the next exciting episode of Bridget Hilary and the News. The Wallabys are trying to make the first round-the-world voyage in history by rowboat. Last week, they were in Miami Beach, and we had really expected them to be home for this broadcast. In fact, we have had a brass band standing by since Thursday to greet them, but they haven't shown up.
Well, it's not a brass band, really. It's more of a gypsy string quartet we picked up from a roadhouse in New Jersey that went bankrupt.
Well, the main point I'm trying to bring up is that the Wallabys aren't here yet. Apparently, they've run into strong headwinds, and so once again, we'll make our contact by shortwave radio. That is, if you have the transmitter warmed up there, Bob.
Yes, I'm all set to go here any time. This is Bob and Ray at NBC New York calling the rowboat Elizabeth Louise. Come in, Ed and Montmorency Wallaby. This is NBC New York calling the rowboat Elizabeth Louise. Come in, Ed and Montmorency Wallaby.
This is the rowboat Elizabeth Louise. Hello, New York. Do you read us all right up there?
Yes, you're coming in fine. We'd sort of expected you to complete the voyage this week. What happened?
Well, the very cold weather had slowed us down a lot. We really aren't outfitted for it, you know.
Well, the weather isn't particularly cold here in New York, Ed. Where are you?
This is Montmorency. We've landed on what is apparently the coast of Maryland, and believe me, these folks are having about the most rugged winter they've ever had. Snow and ice all over the place.
Snow and ice in Maryland at this time of the year?
Well, we figure it's Maryland, yes. The people we've met keep referring to it as Labrador. I guess that's the name for this particular section, though, here. Ed is keeping the charts, and he figures that we're about 40 miles from Baltimore.
Well, excuse me, Montmorency, but did I understand you to say...
This is Ed.
Did I understand you to say you're in Labrador?
That's right, and you wouldn't think that there was an area this wild and remote so close to New York. The people all live in houses made out of ice and snow. It would make a great ski resort. A smart promoter could make a lot of money here.
Well, I don't know just how to tell you this, but Labrador is nowhere near close to New York. In fact, rowing up from Miami, what you've done is you've gone right past New York. I don't see how you could have missed it.
Well, the trip seemed a lot longer than we expected, but Ed said he was sure this is Maryland.
Well, it isn't. You overshot the mark by a couple of thousand miles, Montmorency.
Well, this is Ed. Does New York have a lot of great big buildings in it? And is there a great big statue of a woman out in the harbor?
Yes, sure. That's the Statue of Liberty.
Well, I guess that's where I made my little mistake in navigation then. We went past there on Wednesday afternoon. I thought it was Norfolk, Virginia.
Well, I'd suggest you turn around and head right back then. After all, you're supposed to be racing against time on this voyage.
I don't know whether we can get out through the icebergs or not. I suppose we can give it a whirl.
Well, I wish you would, and I might add that your stupidity is almost unbelievable.
We've gotten to be pretty good at spearfishing, too.
Well, we hope to have you back here by next week. And now this is NBC, New York, saying over and out.
Yeah, okay. Over and out.
And we hope that all of you listeners will join us again next week when we hope to have the Wallabys right here in the studio with another interesting and educational report on their round-the-world voyage.
Now, I think it's travel time, isn't it?
Hello again, this is Tom Lowell, your world-renowned travel man, here to answer travel questions sent in by listeners on This, the World of Travel. Are you ready with the questions, Ben?
Yes, I'm all set.
And
Mr.
the
Lowell.
first question, please.
When traveling on a train, is it a good idea to sit over the wheels?
Well, it chafes a bit, but if the average traveler is hardy and doesn't mind the discomfort, why not? Go ahead and sit over the wheels.
I'm sorry, you through?
Yes.
Is Dodge City safe these days?
I don't think a vacationer would have to worry about that, Ben, except when there's a cattle drive going through town, and at such times, some of the men in the cattle drive get a little ornery and smash up a few of the cocktail lounges in the area.
But no shoot-ups or anything like
No.
that?
The old law whereby the sheriff had to give each newcomer to town a pistol is no longer in effect.
Good. Mr. Lowell, if a person wanted to relax and live to a ripe old age, where would he go and what would he do?
Well, Ben, if I wanted to live to a ripe old age, I'd probably spend 6 months on each of the 1,000 islands.
Let's see. Well, now, with atomic-powered passenger lines being built these days, liners that is, how will a traveler be able to distinguish between the atomic vessels and the standard passenger liners now in service?
Well, the best way to find out what kind of power a ship is using is to watch the crew around sailing time. If they abandon ship, it's a pretty safe bet the vessel is using atomic power.
Right. And is the Trombone Festival in Stanchard, Maine, anything to see?
Yes, it's something to see, all right. Especially the Grand March, with 7,600 trombones being played at once. But I would warn the vacationer, with 7,600 men pushing those sliding things back and forth on the trombones, they'll cut down everything in front of them. They'll get in their way.
I see. Well, now let's see. Maybe one more question, Mr. Lowell. Could you tell us something about the Sweet Music Festival?
Yes. As always, held at the Bubbling Springs, New York. And if any of you listeners out there decide to visit the Sweet Music Festival, please say hello to the festival's gracious new hostess, domestic champagne woman, Laura Lee Williams. Congratulate her.
Thank you, Mr. Lowell. I think we're running out of time, but you come back next week, you hear? We have several questions that we want to ask you.
I'll do that, Ben.
Thank you, and so long for now.
Keep smiling.
Who does he call Ben, anyway?
His announcer, I guess.
Oh. Wally Ballou today is standing by at a filling station, and a very unusual filling station it is, too. It is owned and operated by a woman. At least I gather that by the name of it. It's called Elsie's Filling Station.
It's on Park Avenue here in New York City, right in the heart of downtown New York.
So, Wally, come in, please, with another remarkable on-the-spot interview.
Elsie's Filling Station here on... Silent Engineer. This is Wally Ballou speaking from Elsie's Filling Station here on Park Avenue in New York City. I'm standing just below the hydraulic lift, which raises an automobile to a height of 7 or 8 feet so that the attendant can get underneath to lubricate the parts that need lubrication. At the moment, no lubrication is going on here, and someone is, however, seated in the automobile on the lube rack, as we call it. And I'm going to see if I can get a few words from him. Will you yell down your name, please?
Harlan Poster.
And, Mr. Poster, how long have you been sitting in the car on top of the rack here?
I've been here 4 days and 3 nights now. And what I'm trying to do is to set an all-time world record for sitting in an automobile while on a hydraulic lift.
Well, now, the record as I remember it, and I'm not too sure of my facts, is 6 days, 8 hours, and 10 minutes.
Yes, that was set back in the old days before they had a hydraulic lift. It was, they used to have to crank the car up. But I think that with all the modern facilities that we have nowadays and ways of getting food up to me, food and water and ice cream and grapes, that I could stay here for at least 2 or 3 weeks.
Well,
that's what I'm planning
you certainly
on.
started out
well. The only
well.
thing that I'd have to worry about is the pressure going out of the hydraulic system, and that, of course, would be purely mechanical.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be my fault. But nonetheless, if I do come down for any reason at all, it certainly will not be a world record.
Well, I don't...
in other words, if something happens that I don't say up to, it cannot be directed...
I see.
Attributed to me directly,
then it's not your fault.
Still not a record.
I know.
No matter what anyone says.
Right.
What I want to do is to set a world record that will stand, that I can be proud of, that my kids can be proud of.
Yeah.
That other people in years to come, when they check the records, will know they did it honestly and fairly. That's all I want to do.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Poster.
Any questions?
I know that they also used to have a device which a car would drive over and the attendant would go down some steps into the pit. You know what the record for grease pit setting is?
Well, let me see. Yes, I do. I think that somebody sat in a grease pit one time for 11 continuous days over a 1928 Hupmobile.
But that wouldn't affect your record here
Or
because
rather
you're on
under a 1928 Hupmobile.
You're on a hydraulic lift at 7 or 8 feet up in the air. Tell me, how does Elsie feel about your utilizing the mechanics of this hydraulic lift so that she can't have cars greased here?
Oh, no, that's the guy's last name, Roland Elsie.
Oh, it's a man. Well, we had our facts.
Don't make that mistake in front of Elsie. He'll drop you. I mean, he's tough as nails.
It's Mr. Elsie
that
we credit.
Yes, that's right.
And so this is radio's highly regarded Wally Ballou from Elsie's filling station on Park Avenue, New York City, returning it to Bob and Ray.
Okay, thank you, Wally, for another wonderful report from on the scene.
Dear pop, 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 and ray, 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 I hear the tender sigh. Alack, alas, how time doth pass, for now we say goodbye.